So you should see it.
Okay, so it says live on Facebook. Let's see. Okay, there we are. I approved it.
So do you see it now on your page?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, we are. Awesome.
So then I'm going to forward it off of that.
Okay, great. Hi, Cynthia. You made it on.
Okay, I think we're good to go.
We're good.
Okay, we ready?
Really?
So do you want to do the intro?
Yeah, sure. Thanks everybody for joining with us. This is the first time Michael and I are teaming up in this kind of group live event to talk about healing and the power of our intention, and that our thoughts create reality, as well as heal our bodies. And I'm really happy that we're here. And I know Michael has been doing you've been doing some really amazing work with people. I've seen some of your videos, and I've been working with individuals as well, online and personally, and it's great to bring it together. And the power of healing coming together in a group with that intention, it can be something really amazing. And so that's what it's about. It's about love and healing and coming together and working together. You know.
Yeah, awesome. And and I think that that's one of the things that we're gonna try and figure out is how much more focused intention we can put into a brief moment in time to see how many people that we're able to help. So, well, Lori, thanks for doing this with me. This is exciting, and I've already experienced doing a one-on-one with you with somebody, and that was exciting. And so this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
So why don't you start and just kind of share your story so that people understand where you're coming from?
Well, my story is that at the end of 2015, 2016, I got sober. And shortly after that, I got activated in my awakening process and began connecting and with myself and with source and with other people, and then started to create this huge platform online and just spreading love and light and healing. And then I began channeling different energies and have developed into different spectrums of healing. I've been doing a lot of healing on myself, on my body, and just recovering from life in general. And during that process of me getting sober and really just stepping things up within myself, I then started helping other people. I've always been a helper, and having that kind of heart as I was growing up, and became older. And so now that I've developed into this healing process of myself and with other people, it's been really life-changing and phenomenal to me. The power of energy and through our bodies, and particularly for me personally, a lot of friends, and the power of our thought intention is shown to me over and over and over again. And learning self-empowerment and self-love and self-care has been the greatest thing that has helped me and my journey and other people. And yeah, so I became a certified structural integrator. I do roughing, which helps to open up the body and return to its natural state in the gravity field. And I do energy work with my hands, and I cast mudras and all sorts of things. I do sound tuning with my voice with people and their bodies, and I do remote sessions as well. So as I'm healing myself and I saw the power of that, that was instantly I wanted to share it with other people. And so now we're all here, and I'm very grateful for the awareness to consciousness and to be able to share that with other people, because it, brings us back to the heart space where it all begins. And that is the most important thing to me.
Awesome. And one of the things I like to tell people too is that in order for it to stay, like if we get better, if we don't do anything, then eventually we won't feel better anymore, right? So by sharing with other people your experience, it allows that healing to continue to take place, right? Because we'll convince ourselves that it must have never happened, or else we would do different things. Now, I don't know about your addiction, but I know that a lot of my addiction was because, one, I felt capable of doing so much more and wasn't doing it, but also I felt a lot of stuff and I didn't at that time realize what it was to be empathic, or what it was to be able to take on other people's stuff, right? So the way that I interfaced was I wanted to take everybody's pain, and as soon as I started going down a path that wasn't necessarily the one that I wanted, I just felt like at that point, well, since my life already sucks, I might as well take everybody else's suck so that their life isn't as bad. But that doesn't work. That's not a very effective way to interact with people. And so that's why I love doing this, because this is the opposite. This is allowing it to flow out. So I'll just briefly, share my story with people. And I know some people have heard it, but, for those of you who haven't, I was extremely active in sports growing up. And I was all state in 3 sports in high school. And after a season ending injury, my junior year in basketball, I made a poorer choice to start drinking. And up until that point, I had been able to say no, but in that moment of weakness, when the doctor said, oh, it's going to be 6 months before you can run, and I was supposed to be the fastest 800 runner coming back, and in that moment of feeling I was out of options, that my life wasn't going to turn out the way that I had planned it to, I said yes. And I wasn't able to stop. So I spent 10 years addicted to drugs and alcohol. I spent 2 years in prison, thinking that was going to be my huge experience, right? That I wasn't going to have any more of those rock bottom moments when I thought that, it sucked enough and I didn't want to go on. And I spent, 7 years just sharing my story of addiction. In 2007, I went on a 12,000-mile bicycle tour around the United States to promote a book that I wrote in a nonprofit that I started, but nothing went the way that I had planned it. And in 2008, I found myself back at that place of rock bottom again. I ended up breaking 3 ribs, and I was just like, I'm done. And it took another 3 years for me to pull myself out of that kind of depression. And then in 2012, I was going to do a world record bicycle ride from Canada to Mexico and LA to New York. And I ended up getting hit on my bicycle and having to have a second double knee surgery. And so in 2015, after having 2.5 or 3 years of back pain and being 3 weeks after a back surgery and finding out that I re-herniated the same disc. So I had an 8.5 millimeter protrusion in L4, L5. I'd lost 3 inches off of my quad. It felt like I was getting kicked in the groin all day long. And then I found out, oh, well, you've got torn labrums in your hips and bilateral impingements. And the hip surgeon wanted me to do my back again and then spend 6 months to a year getting into shape before he wanted to do my hips. And I was at a point of out of options again. Right? I didn't have any doctor's appointments to look forward to. Oh, and my wife, or ex-wife now, decided that she would rather have a boyfriend than stay married. And so at a moment of, like, really, again, no other options, I was instantly able to heal myself. So one moment I had all that stuff, and the next moment I didn't. Like, one moment I couldn't stand on a paddleboard, and the next moment I was paddleboarding across the Columbia River. So it wasn't like a process. It was pretty much instant, right? I had gotten to the point to where I didn't have any other options, and I put all my pain into a rock, and I threw my rock in the river, and that was it. But the most amazing thing in that experience was that I found that after that, I could focus my intention on others, and they were able to start to heal as well. You know, and it's taken me a while to get to this point to where I somewhat understand, like, how it works, why it works. You know, so it took me a while to go from that new awareness to where I am now. And I still don't have it all figured out, right? But I have I think a better understanding of it, you know, now than I ever have. So, you know, that's how I got to where I understand what's possible. And I think one of the important things for people to remember is, I know that it's possible because I healed myself. I continue to know that it's possible because I continue to see people heal themselves as well, right? And I know that I'm no more special than anybody else. So I come into the situation knowing that the other person can heal themselves. So then it's just a matter of figuring out how to best get to that point, right? And everybody's different. I mean, the experience is different for everybody. Sometimes it's instant. There are times that it takes a little bit more time or work, but knowing that it's possible is what it's really about. Mm-hmm. Because everybody can have hope if they know something's possible, right? So I think we should have maybe Diana come on. I know she's shaking her head. She's like, no, not me. But I just want her to share her experience, because I've worked with her a few times, and just kind of maybe tell people, you know, where she was at and where she's at now. You okay with that, Diana?
Bear with me. This
Okay.
isn't claim to fame. I'm not a public speaker at all. I never was, and I never will be, but
You will be right
okay,
now.
I guess a year ago, next month, I was really stressed out, I guess. I was having a lot of problems. My daughter-in-law, who I loved, and she loved me dearly, and for years we had a good relationship, and for some reason she had breast cancer, and I think it was the medication that she was on. She opted not to have different chemotherapy and all the radiation and everything, and we were having differences, and it really hurt. And I think it was the medication, I don't know, but it really hurt me. I lost my mother. Oh, jeepers. And then I had a stroke in June. My mother passed in May, and I had the stroke in June. And after the stroke was over, I went to the specialist, and he said it was a major stroke, and everything, after doing all the testing and everything, more MRIs and CAT scans, he said, you're fine. Your stroke is gone and you're fine. But I still felt the weakness in my legs. I felt shaky all the time, tremors inside my body, and I wasn't getting any answers from anybody. My GP, the heart specialist I was going to, and unfortunately in Peterborough there was no neurologist, so I couldn't even see a neurologist at that moment without going to Toronto or one of the bigger cities. But anyway, we did get to see one, and he agreed with the heart specialist that I shouldn't, with the type of stroke that I had, and it was a major stroke, he said I shouldn't be having all these side effects. But I know what I'm feeling inside. I know what I'm feeling, and nobody seemed to be giving me any answers. So Brenda, my younger sister, she was on Facebook one day and came across Michael's one of your sessions or whatever you had on there, and she said, she phoned me, she was so excited, Diane, maybe this is the answer. And she got me hooked up with Michael, and I am really, really thankful for her doing it, because I can maybe see the light at the end of the tunnel. It might not be today or tomorrow, but I honestly think that there will be one. So anyway, here I am.
Yeah, well, and that's the most important thing to remember is time is our worst enemy, right? I mean, either going back in time or forward in time, right? So, but just knowing that something can change. And when we started, you were having trouble with your arm, right, and your shoulder,
right, and my shoulder, arthritis. I do have arthritis off different parts, my hips, my knees, my shoulders, my hands.
And so
I do.
You were having trouble even standing up and getting stable and stuff, right?
Right.
And
yeah.
so
when I
in the last 3 days, like, what's the difference today from 4 days ago?
I think it was yesterday morning, and more so this morning, I got up without even thinking about it, and I stood up and started to walk, where the other mornings I knew within my body that when I stood up, I'd have to stop and get my bearings before I could move. But this morning I just got up and started walking. And then it dawned on me what I had done, and I thought, holy cow, this thing is working.
Yeah. And, and again, that's like, the important thing to remember is that it probably works every time. It might not always work exactly the way that we want it to. And right. So I like to have people focus more on it's about the experience, right? Because if we get too wrapped up in the result, we might be disappointed. But if it's just the experience of what's possible, if it can get a little bit better, then it can continue to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And one of the reasons too why I wanted you to come on, not just to public speak, but you did a great job, but also because at the end we'll all focus our intention on you, and we'll see if we can get that last little bit. Okay.
Good. Yeah. Great.
Okay. Awesome. So Lori, who did you have that we can do a one-on-one type thing with to demonstrate?
Well, Teresa is here,
Okay.
and really happy that she was able to download the app and be on with us. Teresa, are you open to talking a little bit about what's going on with you, and then we can do some one-on-one with you?
Teresa?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did you hear what Lori said?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was for someone else. I'm sorry, Laurie.
No, that's
Yes.
all right.
Yeah,
She just said that, or you can go on. Yeah, go on, Lori.
yeah. I wanted to see if you wanted to share a little bit or a lot of bit of your story. And
Oh, of course.
okay,
Well,
great.
I want to tell Miriam, right? She was just on before about the cancer. I have stage 4 cancer, ovarian cancer. And I healed when I was doing medical marijuana. And I kind of got into a little disagreement with my sister. And so the cancer came back and it spread to the esophagus, the stomach, my throat. It does change your mood. You become different. You know, I try to be very patient, but the medication does make you a little bit distraught, you know, and I try to be as humble as I can. So at this point, I'm taking chemo, and I do self-meditation as well. I love the way Laurie does meditation. She really, she puts me very calm. I feel so calm. It really helps.
Oh,
I have to constantly remind myself, I'm not a victim of cancer. It's not going to happen. Everyone is, I mean, the doctors are saying I have less than 6 months. I don't feel that way. I don't sound that way. I feel very much alive. So I really, yeah.
Well, and I think one of the important things to remember is we're no longer a victim of our genes.
Right.
Or our circumstances, right? Because, I mean, they spent billions and billions of dollars on the genome project, right? Thinking they were going to figure everything out. But what they really figured out was that we're not a victim of our genes, because genes can be upregulated and downregulated by environment all the time, right? Now, is that going to mean that it's going to be possible for everybody to do? Probably not. But again, it's about building belief in what's possible. It is possible. Sometimes it takes a lot of work because of everything that has happened before now, that is only really important because we attach to what has happened before now, because each moment in time is its own moment in time, right? So one moment here, right, I had torn labrums, and the next moment I didn't, right? Because as soon as the information changed, the energy did something totally different. But I think it was in 1985 or 1986 where they had a woman who had cancer, who had multiple personalities, and they MRI'd her as one person and they saw the cancer. Well, when she was the other personality, she didn't have the cancer.
Wow.
So it just goes to show how powerful our thoughts are.
Mhm.
So what are some of the physical symptoms that you have right now?
I have severe leg pain.
Okay.
They put me on so many pain medication. And I'm not happy about taking all that pain med. I was actually healthy. I didn't have no problem until this cancer developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say that your leg pain is?
Right now,
Yeah,
8
an 8. And is it a constant 8 all the time, or just some of the time?
all the time.
All the time. All right. So Lori, let's just focus on the leg pain, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Teresa, can you just relax for us for a moment?
Yeah.
So Teresa, what do you notice now, if anything?
I'm feeling relief from my hip.
Okay. So would you say the pain's the same, different?
Different. I can feel it mellowing down,
Okay.
moving down. Hmm.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm gonna cough. All right, so just relax again for me, okay? All right, so how about now? What do you notice?
I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling a whole lot better.
So, and part of this is when we start to feel better,
Mhm.
we have to do better things, right? Because if feelings are emotions that are stored in the body, right? In order to override those past feelings, the emotion in the moment has to be greater, right? So when we do something that we haven't been able to do, it solidifies that something has changed.
Okay.
Like, have you been able to, like, do you have trouble walking around because of the pain?
Yeah. I feel a little weak.
Yeah,
The damage from what chemo has done.
right. So are you comfortable just standing up and just kind of walking around and just seeing how that feels?
I'm
Okay.
not as tense as I was.
Kirsten, you asked what it is that we're doing. We are sending intention, like some people do distant Reiki. I do mudras and energy healing. So if you want to hop on, and assist in that, and I mean that's why we're here doing this group event together. So it's definitely holding space and sending that intention of us joining together.
Ouch. I'm sorry, my cat. Ouch. Out. I'm sorry.
And Laura, I probably should have maybe taken a moment and explained, that when I started, but I was gonna, explain it, afterwards so that other people could assist. But all I'm really doing is I already know that Teresa can feel better,
Mhm. Yes.
right? And I also know that, man, Teresa's life's pretty sucky right now. So she might not believe that she can feel better. So if life has done this to Teresa and she doesn't think she has any more options, all I'm doing is just pushing life back and just bringing that possibility of feeling better right there to Teresa so that she can grab hold of it. And then as soon as she grabs hold of it, holding it there long enough until she believes it's real. Right? So unless there's that transition from believing to knowing, it'll fade. So holding it long enough until she knows she can feel better. And that's why too, like, get up and walk around if you haven't been able to walk around, right? So that you can show your subconscious that, oh yeah, I do feel better. Right? And there's some things that are more difficult than others, right? Because environmental factors are huge, right? So not everybody or everything wants people to feel better. Sometimes people will convince us not to feel better because they don't want to feel better, right? So, that's where the daily work, comes in, right? Once you know that something's possible, then it's that much easier to continue to grab hold of it. So how are you feeling now, Teresa?
I'm feeling a whole lot better. And I just want to say, you're absolutely right. The environment also and the people I'm surrounded with at the moment, I think plays a big role.
I liked what you just said, Teresa. I think you said, what'd you say? You're absolutely right. I just
Yeah.
like the sound of that. No, but so here's something to think about, Teresa, is we can be more than our environment. Right? We can be more than our circumstances. We can be more than viruses and bacteria. Right? So we're meant to flow outward, right? We should be the lights, right?
Right.
So once we're interacting that way, right, it makes it a lot easier to navigate through the environment because we're more than the environment and it doesn't affect us as much, right? So for 30 some years of my life, I was a magnet, right? I brought everything in. I wasn't shining out. I was just sucking in, right? And it wasn't until that point of having no other options and finally coming to grips of I could take all that pain and put it into a rock and just get rid of it, right? And then that's when everything changed because then I changed the way that I interfaced, right, with reality. I just allowed it to flow from the inside out. But we've been programmed to believe that we have to go outside of ourselves for everything.
That's interesting. Can I say something that I just felt? I felt like a sudden, I don't know how to say it, but here in my throat, like it just went,
Yeah.
like something just opened.
Well, so have you felt like you haven't had a voice?
Yeah.
Well, so everybody's experience is a little bit different, right? Like some people might feel warmth or tingling or cool or whatever that sensation is, right? But usually that is just the subconscious or even the ego having to put something to it because something instantly changed, right? So whatever that experience was, right, is just your awareness to something has changed, and now you have the information to be more than you were 15 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. So we'll move on, but Teresa, just remember that if your legs can feel this much better now, right? Then everything can feel better, right? It might take some effort and some work, right? But at least the possibility is there to continue to feel better.
Yeah.
To know that there's plenty of people that will support you in that experience. Okay. All right. Cool. So, Lori, who did Nina want? Okay, so I'll unmute Nina. Okay.
Yeah.
Nina, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. So, Nina, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
What's going on with me right now? Yesterday we had a session, right, Lori?
Yes, yesterday we had a session together.
Yeah, it was a great session. I felt so much relief after that, especially my root chakra was kind of like having the shine. Well, it was so much closed that my creativity wasn't flowing at all. But what I was noticing later, and especially today, as I described to you, Lori, is kind of like around my heart area. My heart had no, kind of like was cramped into something, had no room, and also a feeling of a bone at the point of breaking, kind of feeling like that. So Lori did send me some energy, but after that, as that kind of like the feeling wasn't that intense anymore, I felt something in my lower leg. So it went from my heart actually to my lower leg.
Okay, so and is your lower leg then now is hurting now?
Yeah, it is, but also this area kind of like it isn't hurting as much as before, but it has a strange connection.
Okay. And like on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say the pain level is?
I would say around 9, something like that.
The legs a 9 and the chest, or just the legs a 9 and the chest is a little less?
The legs are a 9 and the chest is, I would say 7. 7 comes to mind.
All right. So, well, let's focus on the legs first, okay? So, Lori, let's just focus on the legs for a second, okay?
Okay.
All right. So just relax for a second, Nina, okay?
Okay.
So what do you notice now with your legs, Dina?
I'm noticing kind of like a kind of like spongy feeling, you know, kind of like there was something, but it's kind of like not there anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, as long as it makes sense to you, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like a light breeze. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say it is now?
I would say non-existent.
Okay, well, that's awesome. And what about the chest?
The chest is still there.
Okay, so let's just focus on the chest for a second, okay? So
Okay.
just relax again. All right, so what do you notice there now?
Not so much difference, to be honest.
Okay. Okay, so just relax again.
Okay.
All right, so how about now? What do you notice?
I would say the pain subsided from 7. I mentioned 7, right?
Yeah.
The pain is 7. So I would say kind of like 4 right now.
Okay, so relax one more time.
Okay.
All right, so how about now?
I'm feeling a cushy feeling around my heart right now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The
And-
pain is kind of like gone, not entirely, but I don't feel that what I described before. So
Yeah. And you should also thank yourself, because whatever you're feeling is you, right? Like, all we can do is encourage you to do something that you're already capable of doing, right? Like, we're just building belief in what you're already capable of doing.
yeah.
So the experience is still you, right? We're just silently encouraging you to do it, right? And I think that's important for people to remember too, is that after you've experienced something, it's much easier than to experience that again, right? This is as much about empowering people to do what they're capable of doing as anything else.
But
Right.
the point is, if I may say
Yeah.
something, the point is, I was doing myself actually, kind of like transmuting the area and giving the healing and visualizing myself actually healed, but it was kind of like bigger than me, and I couldn't do it myself. So with help from you and Lori just now, and I assume help from me too, I was concentrated on that area. The pain is so much less than it was before. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Well,
I
and
was trying myself, but with help of you, it's kind of like gone right now.
well, and it's always like a we thing, right? Everybody plays a part. Everybody's bringing something to it, right? All right. Well, awesome. That's pretty exciting. I'm glad that the legs are feeling much better and the chest is feeling better.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to mute you really quick. So, Lori, I think what we should do now is maybe explain a little bit what it is that we're doing, so that we can then have everybody get involved in the experience, right? And I know that Tanya needs some personal attention from the group, and Cynthia as well. I don't know who Mary is. Do you know who Mary is?
Let's see. I'm not sure who Mary is. I don't see a last name or anything, so I'm not totally sure.
But that's a.
If maybe if someone wants to comment on the
Oh,
post.
hey, Mary.
Hey, Michael.
Oh, I didn't know I didn't know if it was you or not. Awesome.
Yeah, it's me. I'm just kind of in and out because I'm putting my kids to bed. So.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I just wanted to know which Mary it was.
Who the stranger is.
Yeah, awesome. Okay.
Okay.
I know who Mary is now.
Okay, cool.
All right, awesome. So, do you want to just kind of take a moment and just explain what it is that you're doing?
Yes. So what I'm doing is when I focus my intention and I step into a clear, then I step into a clear space where I'm not thinking anything, my hands will come up, and it's like sign language. Mudras are like sign language in a way. They work with the meridian lines in the body, and each digit is an actual element which charges the body and the organs in specific locations and creates a vortex of energy. And I'm able to sign out what work is being, or I say work, but what is happening through, between myself and another person. And, a description of it could be considered Reiki. I have been certified in Reiki as well, although I don't really initiate Reiki. I stand into the void and my channel and let the energy flow through me. And our bodies, we're antenna. We're not like an antenna, a conduit of energy and water and electricity. And just like with telepathy, I don't know if any of you have experienced it, but if you've been around someone and you've had a thought, and then all of a sudden that person says what you were thinking, or that person calls you on the phone. Well, what we're doing, or what I do, is no different. Sometimes the telepathy is so fast I don't even finish the thought in my mind, and the other person is saying or doing what it is I was thinking. And it's the same way with energy. It's like quantum physics. I don't know if many of you have studied that a little bit, but it's like energy travels instantaneous, as does thought, which is energy in motion. And so my hands will get really heated up, really warm, and I get energy surges through my body. And I also get messages sometimes as well. So just by doing remote sessions with people, we don't even have to use video. We can just message through Messenger or by phone. so that the two are locked in place, and then the intention becomes stronger versus me just sending healing energy to someone, because it's about we, like Michael says, it's the we that is what it's about. And so my hands will come up and mudras will perform, and I can sort of tell what's going on in the body and feel clearings, like when someone has an energy clearing or they have a shift, I can channel that through signing it. And so that is what part of what I do.
Awesome. And people need to understand that, like, this isn't unique to any one person, right? We're all capable of providing this type of service or assistance to others, right? But because of our own unique experiences in life, we get to this place in different ways, right? So, you know, Lori might interface in reality a little bit differently than I do, only because her experiences and her, education or her lessons have got her to this place different than me, right? And we're doing the same thing because we know that it's possible, right? She knows it's possible from her experiences, and I know that it's possible through my experiences. So it works because it's meant to work.
Yes.
Right? It's like the placebo effect. Right? The pharmaceutical companies will try and tell you that it's not real, but yet they use it in all of their studies. Right? They don't want you to know that 30% of the time and 41% of the time when people pay for it, that people heal themselves. They already know that it's possible, but they're going to tell you that it's not real. We know that it's possible because we've experienced it, and we continue to see it in other people. So I know that there was somebody else on here that was doing something with their hands. Who was that, Lori? Because I wanted to ask her what she...
Yeah, that's Kirsten.
Oh, there she is. Kirsten, do you want to share really quick? Whoops.
Everyone, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can now.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Kirsten. I'm in Austin. I started out with angelic Reiki, and then I spent a month in Hawaii earlier this year and got to spend some time with Lori. And things have changed. My energy has changed. The way I'm healing other people has changed immensely. And I've been activated not just by her, but by quite a few other healers here in Austin. Like right before I left for Hawaii, everything just kind of synchronized for me for some mega activations. And I've been taking it easy the past few months and integrating, but I've been noticing light language, speaking light language, snapping, doing clearings, tapping, sound alchemy, singing with my voice. My remote healings are blowing people away, and I can't explain it. I'm just getting out of my own way and letting it flow, like Lori says.
Yeah.
Well, and that's probably the most important thing to remember, is to get out of your own way, because it's not like, if you're helping somebody, the experience is not yours. It's their experience, right? You're just allowing them to have an experience.
Right,
So,
exactly. So I'm connecting with their energy, and it's just, what is it? I'm not healing them. I'm showing them how to heal themselves, exactly like how you say.
yeah,
It's not me doing it. It's just facilitating the energetic flow.
for sure. And
Creating the sacred space is what
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's an important thing to remember too, because too often we want people to feel better, but yet we're willing to sacrifice our own health for them to feel better. Now, I'm sure that there's quite a few empathic people on here that have probably operated very sympathetically for a large portion of their life. And that was me until I was finally able to just say that I wasn't going to operate that way anymore. Right. But, you know, some of the stuff that we're learning can be used in all, you know, aspects of our lives. Like being a parent, it's sometimes more difficult to operate from this space with my kids because I want them to get it, right? Or I want them to feel better, bad enough that I'd be willing to take their pain instead of just allowing them to the space to heal themselves.
Yeah.
So I'll just take a minute and just kind of share, you know, what it is that I'm doing. And then hopefully everybody that's on the call will get, have enough information that then they can help participate in focusing on some other people that are on here. So I think that the most important thing is that I know that I have to come into it with enough compassion to offset any disbelief. Right? And I'm pretty good at being compassionate because I've made plenty of poor choices in my life. And I've been in plenty of really sucky situations to really understand what other people could be going through. And also knowing that since each moment in time is its own unique moment in time, the best way to detach myself from that last moment in time is forgiveness. So forgiving myself and forgiving others. So in that moment, right, I can be present in that moment without any of that past stuff that I want to hold myself accountable for. And it really doesn't matter as much what's going on in my life either, because I'm able to, in that moment, have enough forgiveness for myself and forgiveness for others that it doesn't affect me. Right? So the compassion part is huge. And we can all have compassion because we've all struggled with something. We've all been at a place that we didn't necessarily like, right? So the next thing that I always remember is that it doesn't have anything to do with me. Right? I'm just sharing my experience with somebody else and allowing them to have their own unique experience. And I think that that's important because that keeps me from taking on everybody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And then the last thing is just the knowing component. Right? So knowing that it's possible for them to heal themselves, and then just holding that knowing there long enough for them to experience it themselves. And then not getting wrapped up in the results, because I can get wrapped up in the results just as much as the other person can, right? Because I like results, right? But you know, knowing that it's just about the experience, right? So the most important thing is if something can change a little bit, that something can continue to change, right? And everybody's experience might be different, right? But if this is a miracle, right? Miracles aren't going to take people past purpose, right? So whatever that experience is the experience that they're meant to have.
One of the ways that I learned to forgive myself and others for things, and this helps me so much, not taking on other people's stuff and, you know, being really energetically sensitive or empathic or whatever we want to call it, is that I recognize that we all have our own programming, and different circumstances brought us to where we are right now. And while we may have different circumstances, we all feel the same way. And, you know, we feel the same emotions, and that the things I did yesterday or the day before or 10 years ago, and anything anyone else has done, is part of the programming that I was in and that they were in. And I, in this moment, am no longer in that old spectrum of reality. So if I continue to put myself there, and my thought processes and the way that I'm feeling, is just going to infiltrate in the body, and it becomes something else. And then we get stuck in these alternate realities that aren't in the present now. And so just like with healing in the body, I think that I feel as though that just because an injury or a diagnosis of something from a doctor has come about, that certainly doesn't mean that we have to continue to stay in that, you know, diagnosis or that old programmed revolving doorway of feeling. And so the power of recognizing that something is there, embracing it to release it, it changes everything vibrationally. Things expand, the body begins to expand vibrationally, and that's when we can really step into healing. Holding on to pain in that solar plexus in the gut of what other people have done and what we've done ourselves just really gets us in a place of festering versus evolving to higher vibration. And we owe it to ourselves and our thought processes to love our body and our mind. And then that helps everything else flourish on the outside. It's a beautiful mirror, a divine reflection is what I like to call it.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah. If we're not willing to forgive others freely, it's hard for us to be forgiven.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to pick and choose what you're going to forgive as well. I mean, you either forgive or you don't forgive, right? It's easier just to forgive everybody and forgive yourself, and then step into that new moment.
Yeah. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. And it's amazing too, how once stepping into that light of forgiveness, how quickly it starts to go away. And you look back and was like, and I know for myself, I would think, wow, I spent so many years in pain when all I had to do is surrender and realize that we all have our own programming. And, you know, I didn't get the handbook on love. So, you know, I don't think a whole lot of people did either growing up. And it's circumstances, you know, and it's the attention that we put on those circumstances that continue to create realities.
For sure. Okay, well, awesome. I hope, does everybody have a good enough understanding of what's going on? And then we can just go around, and we'll start with Tanya. Okay, so Tanya, I'm gonna just unmute you for a second. Okay, Tanya. So Tanya is my friend from Australia.
Hey.
Hi. I have to make friends with people all around the world in case I ever go somewhere and need a place to stay. Okay. So Tanya, I know you and I have worked a few times, and then Lori and I worked with you, and things are pretty difficult for you.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we've been able to get some relief, but not necessarily to the level that we'd want. So why don't you just, well, first of all, the back, on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say the back pain is?
Right now, it's probably about a 6.5,
Okay. And then how's your stomach today?
about a 5.
All right. So why don't we just focus on the back first, okay? So just relax for a moment. And then if everybody just take, 4 or 5 seconds just to get into that present moment, and then just focus that intention on Tanya's back. And I probably should have mentioned this. When I'm focusing, I'm not necessarily focusing on healing, like the process. I already know the possibility is there for it to be healed. So I'm just holding that healed possibility there. All right. So let's all just focus on Tanya. Okay. So Tanya, just relax for a moment. All right. So Tanya, what do you notice now?
I had some tingling in the tops of my thighs, but the back pain, no, it hasn't changed.
Okay. What about your stomach?
No change.
Okay. So let's focus on the stomach now for a second. Okay, everybody. So just relax, Tanya. All right. So what do you notice now?
I've noticed a difference.
With just your stomach or your back too?
Yep. No, just my stomach.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say it is now?
Probably about a 3.5.
Okay. All right. So let's focus on the back again. Okay. So just relax again. All right. So how about now?
I have to stand up. Hang on. Yeah, it has made a bit of a difference. It's probably about a 5.
Okay. So when's the last time it's been a 5?
Oh gosh, a couple of days ago.
Okay.
When I had the
Okay.
healing with you and Laurie, I felt really good.
Okay. Okay, so just relax again, okay? All right, so now what do you notice?
Not a lot of change. Still sitting on about that 5.
Okay, and how about your stomach?
No, it feels pretty good. And I would say probably about a 2.5.
I was feeling some energy being released from the top of your hips. It didn't go all the way into the middle of your back where your sacrum is, but it was more so getting toward the outside and then the side of the hips during that right there. So, so maybe we can focus again.
Okay.
Okay. Like
All right, so how about now?
Yeah. No, it does feel better. Like there's still pain there. Probably stiffness has released, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's still a little bit of stiffness there, but no, it has made it easier, like to bend. Like I can
Yeah,
still
well, I
feel
mean, it looked like you got up a lot quicker and
yeah.
you
No,
bent
that's-
over a lot easier.
yeah.
So, and
Sorry.
I don't like to bring any of my opinions into the situation, right? But just in the little bit that we've talked, right? I mean, you've had a difficult time up until now.
Yep.
Right? So for whatever reason, it's right there, right? And so when we're done, you go right back into it, and you have to learn to be, more than the environment, more than your circumstances, and then be patient and be easy on yourself, knowing that sometimes it takes a little bit more, time and effort for some people. But I like to think of the people that don't get the greatest of results. They're going to be healing superstars soon, right? Because you really know what it's like to have to struggle and work through it. So you can have more compassion for others. So we'll continue to talk and we'll continue to work, and one day we'll look back and we'll think, well, that was nothing, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to say hi to Helen really quick. Helen,
Hi.
how are
Yeah,
you?
I'm late. I had to go pick up my daughter.
Oh, that's all right. So how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. My knee is backed up to probably around the 6.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
If I had 11 kids, my knee probably would be a 9, right? So we'll come to you in a second. I saw that you and Trisha came on, so I just wanted to at least say hello, okay?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to mute you again. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Whoops. So Teresa, I know we focused on you one-on-one, but I just want everybody just to take a moment and just focus on Teresa, okay? Okay, Teresa?
Yes.
All right, so just relax for us, okay? All right, Teresa, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a whole lot better.
Good,
Mhm.
good.
And relaxed. And I really feel, and what you said, I see that in a psychological way. I've really never had a voice in the family.
Yeah,
So that made me think.
yeah. Well, and it's okay to have a voice.
Mhm.
And it's okay that if nobody listens to you,
Right.
because that has nothing to do with you, right? But that's part of that learning to be more than your environment,
Yes.
right? Just you being you, and what happens outside of you has nothing to do with you.
Right.
Okay, cool. Well, awesome, Teresa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Cynthia, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, good. So what are we focusing on for you?
Um, well, with having the stroke, my left side, my left leg, hip, knee, foot especially. We had
Okay.
one last summer a lot, and I had a fall, and I was able to pull myself up, but it kind of went back down to a bit. So I'm here to keep trying, keep trying.
All right. So let's just focus on her left hip, leg, and foot. Okay. All right. So just relax, Cynthia.
Okay.
All right, so Cynthia, what do you notice now?
I feel energy on the top of my foot again, and I can kind of feel it running up my toes to my calf as well.
So do you want to, are you comfortable just standing up and kind of seeing how that feels?
Sure, just 1 second. Feels more, actually it feels more stable,
Yeah.
more stable. Yes. Yeah, it's a little more stable.
All right, so just stay right there and just relax a second, and let's just focus on it again, and then you can check it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so just relax.
Oops. Shoot. Oops. Gotta sit down.
All right, so now what do you notice?
I can kind of feel energy going up, all the way through my knee to my thigh. And I forgot to say they call it drop. I don't like to say it. They call it drop foot. My foot kind of turns into the right a bit, but I feel a little bit of energy, more energy on the top of the foot, kind of going a little bit deeper.
Okay, do you want to try standing up just real quick
Sure.
again, seeing how that feels?
Sure. Wow. This time oh my. I just swung out over my bed without any help. You know, I have to say what you said really made sense to me about being empathic and healing. I feel like I feel like what seems to be happening is I get called upon for people to do healings for them, and instead of holding the space, it comes from me and I get drained.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. It really hit home when I heard you talk today.
Yeah, well, because at a certain point, if things are going a certain way, and the only validation that we think that we have is what we're doing for everybody else, right?
Yes.
It can then be difficult to let all that go and step into that space of possibility, right? Because in that space of possibility, you're nothing, you're no one, you're no thing, right? But you can come out of that space being whatever it is that you want to be, right? But for so long, and I'm not saying you in like specifically, I'm just saying in general, and I know this because this is how I was, right? The only self-worth that I had was my perception of what I had done for others, right? So to step into that place of nothingness, right? You have to then create that new reality by being that person that you've always wanted to be, right? Because inside you know how great you are, but unfortunately, everybody around you doesn't know how great you are, right? Because it makes it difficult to have personal relationships with people when you're wanting to help them, but yet you're holding on to whatever it is that you're wanting to help them with. Because then they look at you like you're crazy. It's like if I take Lori's bag and then I come up to Lori and I'm like, you know what, Lori, I really want to talk to you about your bag of garbage. And Lori's going to look at me like, what are you talking about? You're the one with the bag of garbage. Right? So it makes really difficult personal relationships. Right? And then think about it. If you all of a sudden give somebody back their bag of garbage, they're going to be like, what are you doing dropping this on me? Right? Because people don't want their garbage back when they haven't had it in a long time. Right? So it takes some work and some effort to get to where there's that balance again. Right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, before my stroke, I was actually at this place where it was flowing through me and I was helping people. And I think after the stroke, it's been a bit of a struggle because ideally that's what I feel I'm here for, because I do have a lot of compassion because I made some bad choices myself. So I really can relate to everything you said. And that maybe I'm almost there, but I'm not quite there.
Yeah, and it's just a little bit of a shift in perspective.
Yes.
Right? And
Right.
in becoming the light and not the magnet.
Right.
Right? Like almost you have to be okay with knowing that you can help people, but not going around trying to help everybody.
Right.
Like having to have people getting better around you, because then you're just pulling all of that in towards you instead of just being the help and just allowing it to come. You know, when
Can I say something? For me,
Yeah.
it's the opposite. I feel like sometimes I have people pull on me and they're kind of like, I don't know, maybe for lack of better words, I feel like they're more needy type people. And maybe it's something that I have to work on myself as well.
Well, and you have to remember if people have gotten that from you for so long,
Yep, that I'm part of the problem.
of course they're going to continue. Anytime they get a bag, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I know where to dump this.
Right.
Right? Because Cynthia, she's got all the bags.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And after a while, they're like, this must not even be my bag. This must be Cynthia. She just left it here. I better return it to the sender.
You're right.
Right? And then be okay when people get upset that they have their bag.
All right.
Okay?
Right.
Okay. Cool, Cynthia. Well, we'll continue to work at it.
All right. Thank you so much. I
Okay.
really appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay, so Kirsten, you okay personally?
It's actually very funny you ask. So I seem to be really great at channeling healings for other people, but haven't been doing so for myself.
Okay.
And it's something that I've been slowly tapping into, but I think there's still that little hidden belief. Like I know that I can heal myself instantly. Like I know I can, but I don't necessarily believe I can. Maybe.
Well,
so lots of old. Like old back pain, hip pain, up here, chest pain, and I think that like came from being choked a few times by my stepfather at a very young age, and all kinds of things that I took on from him that I've been releasing. So,
and just because I was able to instantly heal myself doesn't always mean that I can get to that place of being able to do it. Right? Because our subconscious is, for one, is lazy, but our ego is lazy as well, right?
Yeah.
So if, let's say it takes a certain amount of focused intention to instantly heal yourself, sometimes it's easier just to not do it, right? It's like I could sit around and focus on losing weight, but it's probably easier just to eat healthy and exercise than to spend 8 hours of my day focusing my intention on losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
And then knowing that sometimes it's okay to get assistance from other people.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. Could everybody mute themselves? I'm hearing some dogs barking.
Oh, that's my dogs.
Oh, it's your dogs. They're going crazies.
I know. It's they do whatever they feel they
It's all right.
I got rid of the kids, but now I still have the dogs. So, all right. Well, so what specifically do you want us to focus on?
Right now, most prevalent, my shoulders, neck, and back,
All right.
and hips. It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all one column.
All right. Okay. So just relax for us, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So what do you notice now?
I instantly noticed a warm tingling all over my body. And as I'm sitting here, like my body, like my hips just relaxed enough to shift a bit. My breath got easier. I can still feel that warmth and that energy. It's like powerful, almost making me sweat. My hips feel a lot better. My upper back, shoulders, and neck and chest are still very tight.
Upper back.
Upper back, shoulders, chest, and neck are very tight, but my lower back like feels very fluid.
Okay. All right. So we'll just focus on the upper back and stuff for a second, okay?
Okay, thank
So
you.
just relax again.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, that's not me crumpling paper. I don't know where that sound's coming from. All right, so how about now?
Less stiff. No pain unless I move.
Well,
Whereas
that's not
before, yeah,
that's
well,
not very good.
well, before it was just like prevalent, and
All
now,
right.
yeah.
All right, so relax one more time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so how about now?
Oh, that's so much better. I felt some releases and it's still there, but so much better. I'd say about 70% better.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
you all.
And so if I didn't continue to help other people, right, I probably would have been, those are my dogs. I probably
Okay.
would have been in pain again, right? Because just because we know something, we can forget it pretty quickly if we don't continue doing something different, right? So by seeing it work for other people over and over again, I allow it to continue. It's like I'm re-healing myself all the time because I can see it happen in other people. Right? So keep doing what you're doing, right? Keep helping other people.
Oh, thank you.
You know, you'll continue to feel better yourself as well.
It's so lovely meeting you. Thank you so much.
For sure. You're welcome. Okay, so Helen.
Hi.
Okay.
I have my sister. I have
You
my
what?
sister that joined me too. My sister joined. So if we get a chance, her knees are big time bothering. Here she is. Right here. I'll just show you quickly. Hi.
Hi, sister. How are you?
Hello. My name Mary. Mary.
Mary. Okay. So Mary, you got bad knees too?
Yes. Yes, both of them.
Okay. All right. Well, let's.
Quite some time.
Okay. So Helen,
Yeah. Here.
I'm gonna use you two as an example. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, and because I think this is good to point out that healing is healing, right? Possibility is possibility. So just because, let's say we're focusing on one person, doesn't mean that somebody else can't participate in that same experience. Right? So let's say we're focusing on somebody that's got knee pain. Anybody with knee pain can really participate in that. But anybody really with any type of pain could participate in it if they could grasp it, because we're not really limited by time and space. Right? So like if this miracle is just a miracle, it doesn't necessarily only have to be Helen's miracle, right? Mary could have that same miracle because it's just possibility, right? So let's just focus on Helen and Mary, right? Because they both have, stuff going on with their knees, and let's just show people that it's possible to help two people at once. All right.
Awesome. Yep.
So, Mary, what on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say your pain level is?
I'd easily say 10.
Okay. All right. So, everybody, we're going to focus on Helen and Mary. All right. So just relax for us. All right. So, Helen, what do you notice?
gone down from about a 6 to about a 4.
Okay. And what about you, Mary?
Let's see, ever since I walked in the room, I've been here a while listening, and it's moved from, oh my, say a 5. They were really bad when I walked in the room, but I was sitting listening to you for how long now? Yeah, about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was listening. Yeah, I was listening a while ago to you.
Well, and awesome. So just relax and we'll focus on it again. But I'm just going to comment on this really quick. I mean, sometimes people will send me a message. You know, let's say they have a migraine or that they have pain. As soon as I respond that I'll help them, it all of a sudden goes away before I even focus on it, right? Because they already are reaching out knowing that possibility exists, and just reaching out brings that possibility close enough that they're able to then accept it. Right? So just listening in on a conversation about what's possible allows that possibility to start to work. Okay, so Mary and Helen, just relax again, okay? All right, so Helen, what do you notice now?
The pain is gone from behind, but there's still a bit, probably about a 2 on in the front.
Okay.
So it's gone down.
And then what about you, Mary?
Oh my God. I can't believe a lot of the pain's gone. Oh, I'm shocked. Wow.
Hey, Helen, don't be jealous, okay? We'll get you there.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick her out now.
Well,
Okay.
because now she could kick you back, probably.
Wow.
So
There's no mistakes.
So Mary, that's pretty awesome, right? And just how I've told Helen before, right? Just know that if it can feel that much better now, it can continue to feel that much better, right? But since things sometimes become difficult, right? If whatever happens tomorrow, if it's not a 0 again, right? Just know that we can do it again, right? And get it to stay there. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, Helen, I'm going to keep you at a 2 for right now because I want to move on. Okay.
Right.
But I'll message you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Diana.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
My
So
shoulder.
we're going to just focus. We'll just focus on your shoulder really quick. Okay.
Sure. It's the one that's bothering me right now the most.
Okay. So just relax for us. All right. So Diana, what do you notice now?
It's not as sore, but it is still sore. Today it's I don't know, today is bad again. But not as sore as it was when I come into this tonight.
Okay. So just relax again.
Okay.
All right. So now try that.
It's a little bit better. But the other day you said something about reach into just air, like not what I can't remember what you said. It was like when I'm reaching to reach into nothing, just
Well, I think what I was saying was that each time you reach as if you don't know the outcome,
yeah,
right? Because too many times we already assume what the result will be before we even
right.
have the experience.
If I'm expecting it to hurt, it will.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and it works. I'll give you an example. So I've had 7 right knee surgeries. The last 5 were meniscus tears. Well, pretty soon any knee injury was a meniscus tear. But as soon as I made the appointment for surgery, the knee felt better.
Yeah.
Right? Because I already knew what the experience was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I had the result before the event.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Right? So it can work. It can work both ways, right? If we wake up in the morning and we say, "Oh my gosh, here we go again this day,"
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then we're going to be reliving the memories of the past.
Yeah. Well, last night when I went to bed, I told you before, I sleep with my left arm underneath
Yeah.
my head, my pillow. I had no problem doing that. It hurt just a tiny bit that it was uncomfortable to go to sleep. Enough, it hurt just a little bit, but I still couldn't go to sleep. So, but I haven't been able to do that in months. But
Well,
then,
that's awesome. So,
yeah.
all right. Well, I'll check in with you in the morning. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Great.
Can I say something to Teresa?
Yep.
Would you relay it if she's on mute? My husband was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2008, and he was a doubting Thomas. If lack of better words, he was always a doubting Thomas, and that was when our grandchildren started to come by, and he wanted to live for them, and everybody said it. You can do this, you can do this. And they kept on saying it so much that I really do think he started to, well, I know he started to believe it. They only gave him months with radiation and chemo, and here we are 11, 12 years later. So basically it's what you're saying. I don't know how to put it in any other words, but he's still with us.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, Teresa's going through so much, and I know that she's determined as well, so she will make it.
Yeah. And whether we're using words of encouragement or the intention of the words of encouragement, it's the same thing, right? I mean, we know Teresa can do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yep.
So we're just holding that knowing until Teresa's able to just grasp onto that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're going to touch base with me.
Yep, I will in the morning.
Okay. Thank you
Okay,
so
awesome.
much. Take care. Nice meeting you, ladies.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Ellie, how are you doing?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, hey, I am good.
Good.
I
So,
can't find you. I'm in the grocery store.
all right. Well,
There you are.
I'll let you get back to shopping. Are you all good?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm just listening in tonight. So yeah, I'm good. Maybe another night when it's not so chaotic, we can touch base and
Yeah,
do some
but
stuff.
I know that you don't have many nights that aren't chaotic, but
Right? Such
yeah.
is life. But yeah,
Okay, cool.
awesome. Thank you, Michael.
All right, Trisha.
Hello.
How are you doing, Trisha?
Doing doing okay, I guess. Nerve pain's about a 7, 6, 7. But in the last like week or so, I really noticed like the beliefs that I believe about my nerve pain. Like for the longest time, I always try to look at my nerve pain, like what's causing my nerve pain, you know, like what triggers my nerve pain. And so over the last 5 years, I have really focused on the nerve pain. And so that just increased more. And even though I'm trying to look for a cure for the nerve pain, the fact that I'm looking at the nerve pain is causing more nerve pain. And I see that now.
Yeah.
And
well,
so lately, instead of trying to focus on the nerve pain, I've just been trying to focus on being here.
Yeah.
And being pain free, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
It does. It's like if I'm riding my bicycle down the road, looking at the rocks because I don't want to hit the rocks, I pretty much every time hit the rocks.
Yeah.
Right. So really quick, I'm just going to give everybody just tell a little bit about your situation. Okay. So Trisha was in a car accident in 2013 and has been paralyzed from the waist down. She has some feeling, but no mobility and a lot of nerve pain. Is that about right?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So let's all just let's focus on the nerve pain first, and then we'll focus on the leg strength, and we'll see how much we can get you to kick your leg. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, and just so everybody knows, Trisha is Helen's daughter.
Oh.
Okay. And then I guess that Mary would be your aunt, huh?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So just relax for us, okay? All right. So what do you notice now, Trisha?
So it's gone from about a 7 to a 5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just relax again.
Okay.
All right, so what do you notice now?
A lot of heat. My whole body is overheating. The nerve pain from my lower half to about my ankles has gone to like a 2-3, but in my toes, it's still kind of up there.
Okay. Okay, so let's not focus on that for a second. We're just going to focus on the leg strength, okay?
Okay.
Just relax again. All right, so why don't you try kicking your leg and see what you notice.
It's about the same.
Okay.
No change.
Have you noticed, remember the first time we did it and when you were able to kick it, has it stayed that way or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's just focus on that one more time. Okay, so just relax again. All right, so what about now?
It's still about the same, but from about my calf, like my calf and my thigh feel stronger, like stronger than before, but from my calf down, still no kicking.
Okay. And how about the nerve pain now?
About a 3-4.
Okay. So,
but like my whole body right now is just like overheating. I'm like sweating just.
okay.
Like, so
Well,
hard.
just sit there and just kind of relax and just let that flow for a minute, and then I'll check back in with you here before we get off, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, awesome. And I just I mean, one of the reasons why I'm sharing this with people and is because I think that with enough people focusing on Trisha, like I don't know if I can say I know that it's possible yet, because if I knew it was possible, she'd probably be up dancing right now. But I do believe that it's possible that Trisha could get up and walk. And I know that Trisha believes it as well, right? We just need to figure out how we can get that transition from that believing to the knowing. Okay. Okay, Trisha,
Yep.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't know who this Don is. Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Michael. It's Donna.
Oh, okay. I didn't know first. I couldn't remember if it was or not.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
here holding space.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming on.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
I think this is Aaron. Aaron?
Yeah,
Okay. How are you doing?
I'm good right now. I mean, I'm a little bit stiff. Shoot, I'm losing the. I'm not on the visual screen right now.
Oh, you're all right. We can hear you.
Okay. I felt like just the whole energy exchange, like through people, like when you're focusing intentions on other people's
Yeah.
stuff, like I felt the energy surge within me, and I'm just so grateful to like be a part of this group. And like and Lori, like I don't know, I watched a video of you somehow like a while ago on Facebook, and something really like was drawn to your ways of using your mudras and things like that. And it's just, I had no idea that you were connected to Michael, because I was connected to Michael, and I was just like, there's no coincidences in all this. And I love it. I love it all. So I'm kind of riding on a high, and just, I know that like there are so many people going through more extreme situations, even though it's, you can't compare each other's pain. But as far as being all empaths, or being able to heal ourselves and be a part of the collective healing, I feel honored to be a part of this and grateful. So I'm just warming up, even just being able to express myself.
Yeah.
And relate to whoever that was. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names, with the throat. The throat chakra is, I mean, especially for women, it's just like a huge part of our evolution now, is to speak our truth and to share our stories. Just like you're saying, Michael, is just to share stories of healing and passing on that faith and hope, and continuing to learn new ways to heal and
Yeah.
grow together. So I'm beyond grateful right now.
Well, and sometimes it's easier for us to share the belief with others and see it work for them, and then know that it works, than to believe it and then have to know it for ourselves without seeing it in somebody else, right? Whether it's because we don't feel worthy or whatever it is, it's just sometimes through the experience of sharing it with others and seeing it in others, we allow it then to work for ourselves.
And I literally feel it through others. Like I feel the energy working through others, so it's like the somatic experience, like through source energy, that I can connect to through the healing powers. And I know it's legit, and it's like real. So I'm grateful. And I know I have more to do on my journey of healing, but I'm just feeling so happy and elated that I can connect to people from all over the world. And I'm grateful for everyone here, and just, yeah.
And Aaron, the amazing thing about this kind of exchange is that, just by simply feeling the energy that someone else may be receiving, that is you receiving that energy too. So like when we exchange like this, we're all receiving, because we step into that space of knowing, right? That sacred space of opening it up. And so I'm so happy that we're here too. This is really wonderful. And,
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, and I want to say that, like, when we can see the big physical changes, it allows it to be a little bit more permanent, a little bit quicker. Like somebody that can't walk up and down the stairs. As soon as they walk up and down the stairs, they're not going to convince themselves that it didn't happen.
Right.
Right. And since our subconscious is the memories of the past, and our ego has already formulated the easiest way for us to no longer be here, basically, right? But as soon as you walk up and down the stairs, the ego can't question that. It's not going to tell you that you didn't do it, right? Other people aren't going to convince you that you didn't do it, right? So that's why sometimes it's more powerful when we see something happen in others, because it's the visual of seeing the possibility. Instead of sitting there and questioning that, I wonder if something changed in us. Because like I said, if it's not extremely visual, right, that emotional component that has to override the feelings of the past isn't quite there. But when we see it happen in somebody else, it does create an emotion that is greater than the emotions of the past. And then it starts to work for us. So is there anything specific you want us to focus on for you?
I mean, I have inflammation around my spine and some tension in my head and some hip issues as well. But I really like, I am open to healing, like a healing right now, but I feel like I don't really want to take up anyone's time. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's your time just as much as it is anybody else's. So we'll just all focus on you. And really quick, Teresa had mentioned a couple things. Her phone died, but she had left some comments. And she asked about, like, I think, I can't quite see it anymore, but about claiming pain, right? If we should claim it, or, how we should talk about it. And so I think the most important thing is it's probably important to be careful with what words we use. But what's probably the most important thing to remember is it doesn't matter what something is, because the next moment it can be something totally different. So it doesn't matter what somebody has told you that you have, or even what you've told yourself that you have, because the next moment it can be something different. Okay. So just relax for us, okay?
Okay. Does it matter if I lay down or sit up?
No, but
No.
just be comfortable.
Okay.
All right, so what do you notice now?
A lot of tingling all over my body, my head down to the top of my legs. It feels like it's like a release. It feels like a charging too.
So how's the stiffness and the pain stuff feeling?
There's still stiffness in my neck and in my back. But it's like, obviously compared to other times, it's really at a low level.
Okay. So just relax one more time, okay?
Okay.
All right, so how about now?
Yeah, it seems like the energy wrapped around the back of my head and then down the back of my back. Whereas at first it was kind of on top of my body, and now it's kind of circulating through my back now. So it feels good. Still a little bit there, but it's definitely, I feel relaxed, and I don't feel like it's
And since I know a little bit about you, right? I mean, part of the important thing for you to remember is, and I think I mentioned this probably earlier, right? Is we have to learn to allow that to flow out, right? To interface with the outside world outwardly instead of pulling everything in towards us. Right. And I did, if you were listening when I was talking to Cynthia, right? I mean, it's the same type of thing, right? Is learn to be more than everybody around you.
right.
Right. More than your environment. Because you already know that you're more. Right. But unfortunately, nobody else knows that you're more because you haven't been allowing that to shine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Cool. Well, I'll message you tomorrow and I'll just check in and see how you're doing, okay?
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. So does anybody have any questions or comments or anything they want to say? I know that people have been leaving because it has gone a little bit longer than I think than what some were able to do. Mary, do you have anything to say?
No,
Mary?
yep, I'm here. I'm just hanging out and
Cool.
helping out. I feel pretty good.
Awesome. Good. Well, thanks for coming and helping.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay. So Lori, do you have anything to say? Any questions or?
Well, this has been really amazing. This is the first time I've done a group thing like this. And Michael, thank you for reaching out and initiating this process, getting it going. And I'm very inspired by each and every one of you. And just being in a space of being open and vulnerable and allowing is the greatest thing, the greatest gift that we can give ourselves. You know, like one of the things I realize is like we can give love, but oftentimes receiving love is a different thing. And whether it's pain in the body and or the mind, being open and vulnerable enough to allow other people to step in and assist is really wonderful. And I'm really inspired, and this has just been so great, you know, just, and I want to continue to assist, you know, you guys in any way I can. And again, Michael, thanks again. This has been really great.
Yeah. And it's sometimes difficult to receive the love because then we feel there's something required of us, right? It's like if somebody says that you're great, if you say thank you, then you're accepting greatness, and then you're going to hold yourself to having to be great. Right? So sometimes we don't accept it because we don't have the confidence that we can be that. Right? But I mean, that's part of what this is learning to be more than what we've been. Right? And continuing to build on that. So where's Justin tonight?
He's in the other room there.
Okay.
He had a we had a structural integration client this evening and felt like grounded out, but he's been listening and holding space in the other room. So he's here with us.
All right, awesome. Well, tell him thank you, and I'll have to do a formal, introduction one of these times.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll all get on one day soon.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I mean, this was awesome. This was a great experience, and I love doing this. I love sharing information with people, and I love showing people what's possible, and if we can relieve some pain and get people into a place of more possibilities, that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so Trisha and Helen, I'll touch base with you guys tomorrow. Okay, and Cynthia, and thank you, Mary. And then you want to follow up with Nina, Lori?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Nina will definitely continue to keep in touch and
Okay.
see how we progress.
All right, awesome. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Good night.